despite the economic situation we have and the meager earnings they have, they've moved ahead, whereas you've not.
Whereas you're actually stagnant. So that problem makes people fear coming back. And also, some people do not have the visa to allow them to come back. If they left the United Kingdom,
that's it, they can't go back.
They cannot go back.
Okay. Now, what sort of jobs did you engage in? Because before you got to where you are right now, you did all sorts of jobs to try and at least make a living.
I was, my first job was early morning cleaner. Then I went to kitchen porting. I was a kitchen porter, and then I went to the mortuary.
Goodness me. It gets worse. Okay, so what were you cleaning? Molds?
No, I was washing bodies, dead bodies, dressing them up in the mortuary. Yeah.
Oh. And was this actually illegal?
To me, a dead body would be a lot easier to deal with than someone who is sick in a hospital. Because someone who is sick in a hospital, there's a lot of emotions attached between you and the person. This person who is dead is just calm.
Oh, it's just a body, really.
It's just a body.
Yeah.
So in someone like, assume that he is sleeping. You're taking care of this person who is sleeping.
So, and did you get training for this, or how did you end up in a mortuary?
It looks weird, or it sounds weird, because in Kenya, mortuary are places people want to avoid. There we live side by side with in mortuaries. There's a mortuary here, and there's a food shop next door, and people live upstairs.
Within the same building?
In the same building. So people live next to mortuary, and then it's not a scary thing anyway, because it's a reality. People plan to die. You plan, and even when they're selling houses to you, they tell you there's a new mortuary around the area, so those become like selling points. So it's not
the fact that you're buying near a mortuary, so your family will not have stress, taking you to the mortuary.
Yes.
Okay. So
then I did the mortuary work for some time. Then after that, I went to taxi, and then I went back to college. After doing all these things, then I was regular now. So I would afford to go to college. It was easy those days as well. If you lived in the UK for 3 years, a lot of things would make it easy for you to regularize your status. I went to the uni, and here I am.
Okay. Now while you are doing all those jobs, one of the questions that one might ask is, why not just come back home? Why go through all that?
There was that option, yes, but it wasn't a good option for me, because I was still chasing that dream that I saw people when they came back, how people used to be. I was still having the dream of building not one house, but several houses. I was still the dream of having so many matatus, having big time businesses in Kenya. I was still having that dream of being a big person in Kenya. And I hadn't realized my dream, so why would I come back?
Okay, so maybe what were some of your lowest moments, while you're there? And had you left a family, wife, children in Kenya, or had you just been on your own?
Some of the most challenging periods were especially loneliness. UK can be very antisocial to the extreme that at some point we were living in the same room with people that we never saw each other for a period of time.
Because of the work schedules?
Because of the work schedules. You work night, you work day, and you don't see each other, yet you live in the same house. Sometimes you don't even know each other. So those are some of the challenges. You fall sick, you don't know who to run to. Sometimes you don't need the medical attention, you need actually that social attention, which you don't find. A lot of other things also, the distance between here and Kenya. The weather was another one. And also when I left, I wasn't married, I had a girlfriend.
Okay.
Who was she quickly left, and because she realized I was not coming back. So
she left you. Well, were you guys communicating? Because I guess that time internet and emails and WhatsApp was not as efficient as it is now.
Now you'd write a letter which took about a week to get.
No wonder she left. She thought this guy's probably found another one.
And then there was that myth that once you arrive there were Zooms are waiting for you. So those kind of things. Then we were also young as well. So things like those were quite a challenge, but you learn to grow up with them and appreciate them. Yeah.
Okay. So what kept you going, when you're going through all this? What is it that kept you focused and thinking that, there's light at the end of the tunnel?
I found UK to be very friendly, first of all, in terms of the society itself, not the people. People can be a bit cold because the strict laws. There are things that we take for granted in Kenya. You get there, it becomes almost like a crime. So for that, people avoid getting into crimes. People avoid getting into the wrong hand of the law. And I found also UK to be very appreciating in that things that are available, including education. So when I found that there is access to education, then I thought, why not take a chance on this, which would not have been possible in Kenya. I also found that UK, as I said before, that there's quite availability of things. You have the purchasing power. So we would find ourselves getting into things. I also got a new girlfriend who is now my wife.
Wow.
So
well, is she Kenyan?
She's Kenyan. She's Kikuyu.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a Luo, she's a Kikuyu, and we have 2 lovely boys. And now I found myself having a family. So I found myself basing myself in the United Kingdom. Okay,
now for somebody who's probably thinking of going abroad to find greener pastures, what we call economic migration.
Yes.
What would your advice to them be?
UK is a bit, if you are in touch with the actually current affairs, you'll find that UK, actually let me just say the Western world, is very anti-immigration at the moment. So if you're planning to come to the United Kingdom, especially if you're planning to come to settle in the United Kingdom, I would advise that you actually look at your options very well. Get the correct visas to come to the United Kingdom, because you come in the wrong visa, you have a wrong start. Also plan ahead very well. Plan on what you want to come and do. UK things are done by plan. You plan by the hour. Every hour there's something you're doing. So it's best that you plan what you're coming to. Second thing is that I always say that if I'm in Kenya and I'm earning 50,000 shillings a month, I wouldn't leave Kenya.
Why? You know what people do sometimes is you do the math, and if somebody, a relative is in the UK, and you ask them, they tell you, oh, I earn maybe what, £5 an hour.
Yes.
When you multiply that by 40 hours a week, that's a lot of money.
Okay, in the UK we have something called national minimum wage, which in that each profession has its minimum that can be paid. So if you're going there as a professional, and I believe you're earning maybe over 100,000 shillings, you get to the United Kingdom, you find that maybe your profession might not be needed there. So you start from the lowest ground. And for you to climb up to where you left when you're in Kenya can take a while.
It'll take a while.
And then also don't forget you're earning that money in the UK, where also taxes are very high.
And you're also spending pounds.
And you're spending in pounds in the United Kingdom.
Or euros.
Euros, no, UK we deal with pounds. So quite can be a bit expensive. I think London is the most expensive city on earth, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it is actually one of the most expensive cities in the world. And now you've said if somebody is earning 50,000, there is no need to go. What if I'm not earning anything? Would I still?
Yeah, if you're not earning anything, then it depends on what skills you're bringing. Now they're trying to bring a bracket that they want to only encourage big brains in the United Kingdom. The low-skilled people are not very much encouraged. You might find a big challenge, especially with immigration issues, unless you're coming to join your relative. I'll give you a good example. Before, about say 5-6 years ago, people would go there as students, and then you bring in your partner, or your wife or your children, and these dependents were allowed to work full-time while you study. That's not available anymore.
Oh, that was scrapped.
That was scrapped. Before, you'd go to the United Kingdom, and let's say you come to be employed by Standard Group, and then Standard Group employs you for a few hours and you go and work elsewhere. Now you cannot do that anymore. So if you're coming to work for Standard Group, it has to be for Standard Group only. And things can be very challenging. You earn, the tax code is very, very high. If I was here earning the amount I've said again, and I don't have a proper skill, I would stay here. If I don't have a job here, I'd come to the United Kingdom and study and get skills, then get a job. But coming to the menial jobs, those are not very attractive that much anymore.
Okay, let's look at the community that lives there, the Kenyan community, and I'm sure it's quite a huge community that is there.
Yes, it is.
And part of the biggest income that we have as a country is coming from diaspora.
Yes.
With people sending money to their relatives, to their friends, to their having projects, buying land. How strong is the community in the UK, the Kenyan community?
The Kenyan community in the UK is strong, but then lately I think there have been a lot of scares, which somehow, I don't know how we can put it in, but let me say that the government has to do a lot to encourage the diaspora because of things which have been going on. First of all, in the olden days, people used to send money to their relatives. I'll give very simple examples. Send money to the relatives, and they show you very nice structures of buildings that are constructed for you. One day you come to Kenya and find there's absolutely nothing.
They sent you fake pictures. I think I even had Monica Juma, the PS for the PS saying that yesterday. Yeah,
yes.
She mentioned that.
So those kind of things scared people now investing here. So people start to invest back there. In the olden days, few Kenyans would buy properties. They would rather build here, thinking they would come back at some point. Now a lot of Kenyans are actually buying in the United Kingdom.
In the UK. And there's also the political side of it. We're approaching 2017, and the IEBC had mentioned that they will put centers in some of the countries so that Kenyans in diaspora can vote. Do you think that is something that is long overdue?
That's something very, actually we feel like it has been a denial of our rights. I think we also have a right to choose who our leaders are, even though we are not in Kenya. And if that facility can be made available for us in the diaspora, it will be a very welcome idea. Yeah.
Okay. And one might argue and say, if really you as Kenyans who are living abroad want to make an impact in Kenya, why are you abroad? You should be here building the country. Why are you building other countries while here we are suffering?
There was the issue of the Sio Kimau. A lot of Kenyans bought land there, and then the new government comes in and says this land was improperly allocated, and all that is smashed. Now imagine someone invested over 100 million shillings, and that's gone. How do you think other Kenyans around him would feel? Would they wish to come and invest again?
That's just one case, and especially when you talk about that's an investment which went wrong, and by all means and standards, I think everybody has to do due diligence before you purchase. Even if you're local, you're here, you could still be swindled. But now, looking at the brains and the manpower that we have right now in diaspora, that should be here building the country.
You see, let me explain something small here. In the UK, if that thing like that happened, that you are sold off a land which a government approved, you'd have to be compensated for the government to take back that land, even if it was a wrong land. They don't leave you, you don't go and suffer losses. You don't go empty-handed. There was the Thika Road that was demolished. There was the Sio Kimau and other places, and people have been conned. So we have the idea that not only relatives can con you, even the governments can con you, and successive government can con you. We're approaching 2017. People don't know what would happen should the government change hand. What of the other people who had invested? A new government comes in and says these things were wrongly allocated.